What's up, Edmonton? It's Ryan here with Hauer Power Electrical, and today we want to talk about phase adders and phase converters. At the end of the day, it's a pretty uncommon scenario, but in some cases, it's the best thing to do. We're going to talk about a few different topics about it, where you're going to want it, what you would want it for, why you would want it, and how we do it. We've done it before, we can do it again, and again, phase adders, if you have single phase power and you need three-phase power for certain pieces of equipment, and maybe your utility provider either through the nose to get you three-phase power, or you just can't get it in your area. So we'll get started here. We don't want to take up too much time in these videos, but at the end of the day, the whole point of these videos is to further our mission of powering customer service. So if you have questions on certain topics of things like phase converters that otherwise you wouldn't really be able to research, we've done the research. We do this for a living. We're an electrical contractor right here in Edmonton and area, and this is what we do. So yeah. Digital versus rotary. That's what we're going to go for here today. Phase converters. You can have a digital phase converter or you can have a rotary phase converter. So we worked in the city with many suppliers this way. At the end of the day, you can get rotary, but digital phase converter is going to be your best bang for your buck that way. That's going to have more value, but digital is going to be more expensive at the start, but it's going to be faster, it's going to be more reliable, and you're going to be able to use more things with it. It utilizes a utility grade sine wave. And what a sine wave is you're going to peak up and you're going to have your peak down. And if you have three of those, peak up, peak down, then you have three-phase power. If you have single phase, it's just one peak up, peak down. But anyways, utility grade sine wave gets a little bit more into it, but that's what you want. That's what's coming from a utility company, whether it's Fortis, EPCOR. But if you have a digital phase converter, phase adder, whatever you want to call it, that is what you want. At the end of the day, rotary needs a special timing contactor, and that has to be built to order based off what your usage is, what your load is. So it's not as compatible with a whole bunch of different scenarios. It has lots of power draw as well when it's in use, rather than standby power consumption. So digital, once it's off, it's not drawing anything. Rotary, once it's off, it's still drawing something because you need that timing contactor, and it just has to rotate still, so it still draws power. But they both need one thing they both have in common that you're going to need is a specialty isolation transformer. That is what's going to, that's one of the major components to adding a phase, is you're going to need that specialty isolation transformer. So we know exactly where to get it, what parts we need. We have those supply chains open and ready. So if you do need to add a phase for your shop, meat shop, whatever your situation is, give us a call and we can talk about it and see if it's right for you, if there's other scenarios too that might be better for you. At the end of the day, our whole mission is powering customer service. So if we were to say, you know what, this just isn't going to work, you need actually this, that's the whole goal there, is to get you what you want. That's kind of how it should be hiring a contractor, just to solve your problem. But anyways, another option here, it is an option, is a surge protector. I would always recommend a surge protector if you're having a phase adder, especially because you're doing something that's not typical. Typically, your utility is going to provide power, and even they have surges. However, they have the equipment, they have the infrastructure in place to minimize and limit those surges. However, now if you have your own phase adder, phase converter, you may experience surges. It's Mother Nature. It is what it is. Anything man-made is prone to human error, and if we can create electricity and harness its energy, it doesn't mean that it's perfect. We are only human, and the people who make it are only human. You will likely get surges, and if this has any sort of control board, circuit board that you're operating, highly recommend a surge protector for it. Yeah, it's going to cost more, but at the end of the day, it's probably going to save you money in the long run rather than buying more equipment later just because you didn't have this little surge protector piece. But that's the surge protection portion. Another thing you're going to need is we're going to have 240 volt running from your panel to this phase converter. Now what that's going to do is it's going to spit out 240 volt to three phase. So 240 volt three phase is how it's going to come to, and then from that 240 volt 3-phase, that's going to go to this isolation transformer, which is going to convert 3-phase 240 volt down to 3-phase 12208, which is pretty common for what you're going to need for a 3-phase meat grinder, say, for example. And then from that 3-phase 12208, that's going to go to our unit. So this is common for machine shops, maybe restaurants located in a residential area that's not serviced by 3-phase power. The last one we did for this, it was for a client, the last one that was just like this, like what we're talking about. It was for a client where their neighbor before was providing with 3-phase power, which is fine. Their neighbor had a 3-phase hookup to the city, but their neighbor went out of business due to COVID-19. I'm sorry to say, but then our client had no more 3-phase power, and EPCOR wanted north of 20K, 30K in order to get it to them. So it was pretty expensive, and it's a small business. So they said, okay, well, what's another option? That's when they got a hold of us, your Edmonton electrician, and they said, can you do this? We said, yeah, of course we can do that. So this was right when supply lines were really taking a heat. So the biggest challenge was finding this special order products and getting them in a timely manner, because they needed this done like yesterday, as per how things would normally go. So we got it done for him, got him all hooked up, powered up. He's still a client today. He was happy with everything, of course. But yeah, at the end of the day, you're going to have issues like this, no matter what area of wherever you might be. However, there is hope. This is how you can do it. So typically you'd want to reach out to your utility first and see if you can get 3-phase power and what the cost would be. So on their end, they would have to have 3-phase power lines running there, and then they would have to bring 3-phase power to your facility. And then at your facility, that's where we would come in, and we'd install, whether it's overhead, underground, have your meter, have your current transformering, your CTs and all that fun stuff, and then get to your panel and get you 3-phase power then to your equipment. So big picture, that's your number one scenario. If that isn't an option though, then that's where these 3-phase adders come into place. So sometimes older buildings are not going to be grandfathered in, so a service upgrade could be extremely costly, meaning that your main panel board would have to change, your mast would have to change, your meter would have to change, your breakers would have to change. So sometimes that's out of the question. Pretty rare scenario that you would need a phase adder or phase converter, but we have had a lot of questions on this, and a lot of people don't know how to do it, and that's fair. We're not here to teach people how to do it. We're here to do it for you, but this is just another way of reaching out and letting you know that this is one of the things we offer, and we are familiar with it, and we can do it for you. So yeah, give us a call. If you need a phase adder, phase converter, you have more questions on this, see if this is right for you, give us a call, 780-935-0622. As your Edmonton electrician, it is our mission to power customer service, and as a quality electrical contractor, we take the time to do it right, not take these shortcuts. And these videos are just another way of reaching you, our ideal buyer, so that you can give us a call and yeah, and just get in touch with a transparent contractor that just wants to solve your problem at a fair price. Give us a call, get in touch. Again, it's Hauer Power Electrical. My name's Ryan, and I hope you guys have a great week and stay safe out there. Take care, Edmontonians. Bye-bye.